Dear student, we continue with our chapter 9, financial management. In the previous class, I taught you about investment decision, that is also known as capital budgeting decision. Clear? So, I taught you about the why decision is important and factors affecting capital budgeting decision. So, today we are going to study the second decision, that is called financing decision. So, it's related to the financial pattern or the proportion of debt and equity. It is concerned with the decision about how much to be raised from which source. A firm needs to have judicious mix of both debt and equity in the making financing decisions. Debt and equity differ significantly in terms of their cost and risk for the firm. Cost of debt means expected rate of returns of lenders on the debt capital for assuming risk. Cost of equity means the expected rate of return on equity capital for assuming risk. So it is generally considered that cost of the debt should always be lower than the cost of return, because the lender risk is lower than the equity shareholders say, since the lenders earn an assured rate return, fixed return and repayment of capital on maturity. Therefore, they should require a lower rate of return. Moreover, interest paid on debt is deductible expense for computation of tax liability, whereas dividends are paid out of after tax profit. Therefore, increased use of debt is likely to lower the overall cost of capital. While in case of a shareholder, there is no responsibility of making the as such payment, but in case of a debt, you have to must make the payment of interest payment and principal amount whether the firm is having profit or not. So in both the cases, there are certain benefits and certain demerit. Some people believe that retained earning is the cheapest source of the finance, but this is not true. The cost of retained earning is equal to the cost of equity shares. If retained earnings are not retained, they would be paid to the equity shareholder as dividend. Thus, the cost of retained earnings must be considered as the opportunity cost of the foregone dividends. Since equity shareholders forego their dividend, their expected rate of return on equity capital also increases. Thus, cost of retained earning equal to the cost of equity shares. Since cost of the debt is less than the cost of equity, therefore debenture debt is the cheapest source of the finance. Tax deductibility of the interest makes it still cheaper. Clear? But the higher use of debt increases the fixed financial charges, that is interest on a business. As a result, increased use of debt increases the financial risk. Therefore, the cost of each type of the finance has to be estimated. Some sources may be cheaper than others. For example, debt is considered to be the cheapest of all the sources. Tax deductibility of the interest makes it still cheaper. Associated risk is also different for each source. It is necessary to pay interest on debt and redeem the principal amount on maturity. There is no such compulsion to pay dividend on equity shares. Thus, there is some amount of financial risk in debt financing. The overall financial risk depends upon the proportion of debt in the total capital. The fundraising exercise also costs something. This cost is called flotation cost. Must be considered while evaluating different sources. Financing decision is concerned with the decision about how much to be raised from which source. This decision determines the overall cost of capital and financial risk of the enterprise. Clear? Now the factors affecting financing decision. Financing decisions are affected by various factors. Important among them are as follows. First is cost. The cost of raising funds through different sources are different. A prudent financial manager would normally opt for a source which is the cheapest. This is the basic feature of any financial manager, to bring the cheapest debt. Risk. The risk associated with each of the sources is different. As I already taught you, in case of equity, there is no risk, but in case of a debt, you must pay interest whether you have profit or not. Flotation cost. Higher the flotation cost, less attractive is the source. Next is cash flow position of the company. A stronger cash flow position may make debt financing more viable than funding through equity. You will see that in case of infrastructure enterprises, what is happening? You have to continuously invest the money up to 2 to 3 years. Clear? Because you have to continuously invest. For example, you are constructing a multi-story building, then 3 to 5 years you have to continuously invest. Afterward, it will start giving you the returns. That is why it is not possible for everyone to enter into the real estate enterprise. So you have to must consider the cash flow position of the company. That is why you will see most of the people die for franchisee or branded business, because from the very first day you are having good amount of returns. Cash flow. Fixed opportunity cost. If a business has high fixed operating costs, building rent, insurance premium, salaries, etc., it must reduce fixed financing cost. Hence, lower debt financing is better. Similarly, if its operating cost is less, more of debt financing may be preferred. Control consideration. Issue of more equity may lead to dilution of management control over the business. Debt financing has such no implication. Company afraid of takeover bid would prefer debt to equity, because there is no problem in debt financing. Clear? Just your creditability and interest payment is going to matter. So you can borrow any amount of debt amount from outside, and they are not going to interfere in your local business administration. State of capital market. Health of the capital market may also affect the choice of sources of fund. During the period when stock market is rising, more people invest in equity. However, depressed capital market may use of equity shares difficult for any company. Clear? Nowadays you will see both our share market indexes are rising. BSE and NXE both are creating a benchmark. Just consider a situation of 3 months back where every day they are showing the downward trend. Clear? So the state of capital market will also show you whether you will get dividend debt or not. Now we are going to study our third decision, that is called dividend decision. So this is most important decision that every financial manager has to take related to the distribution of dividend. Dividend is that portion of profit which is distributed to the shareholders. The decision involved here is how much of the profit earned by the company after paying is to be distributed to the shareholders, and how much of it should be retained in the business. While the dividend constitutes the current income, reinvestment as retained earning increases the firm's future earning capacity. The extent of retained earning also influences the financing decision of the firm. Since the firm does not require funds to the extent of reinvested retained earning, the decision regarding dividend should be taken keeping in view the overall objective of maximizing shareholders' wealth. Now, factors affecting dividend decision. How much of the profit earned by a company will be distributed as profit and how much will be retained in the business is affected by many factors. Some of the important factors are discussed as follows. First is amount of earning. Dividend are paid out of the current and past earning. Therefore, earning is a major determinant of decision about dividend. Second is stability of earning. Other thing remaining the same, a company having stable earning is in a better position to declare higher dividend. As again, this is a company having unstable earning is likely to pay a smaller dividend. Stability of dividend. Companies generally follow a policy of stabilizing dividend per share. The increase in dividend is generally made when there is a confidence that their earning potential has gone up and not just the earning of current year. In other words, dividend per share is not altered if the change in earning is small or seen to be temporary in nature. Clear? So, if it is always considered that good company will always declare good amount of dividend. Growth opportunities. Companies having good growth opportunities retain more money out of their earnings so as to finance the required investment. The dividend in growth company is therefore smaller than that in non-growth companies. Clear? If the available growth opportunities are more, a company can progress more and can declare more amount of dividend. Next is cash flow position. Clear? So cash flow position is again one of the basic factor which is necessary. As I told you, availability of the cash is very necessary. So always consider the project where you are having timely cash flow. Clear? Otherwise it would be a very big problem, because as I told you, there are certain businesses in which you have to continuously invest the money, like construction of the flyover or any building. So you have to always see whether you are having sufficient amount of the cash flow or not, because lack of liquidity will stop. Next is shareholders preference. While declaring dividend, management must keep in mind the preferences of the shareholder. In this regard, if the shareholder in general desire that at least a certain amount is paid as dividend, the companies are likely to declare the same. There are always some shareholders who depend upon regular income from their investment, and they will always look for the same. Next is taxation policy. The choice between the payment of dividend and retaining the earning is to some extent affected by the difference in the tax treatment of dividends and capital gains. If tax on dividend is higher, it is better to pay less by way of dividend. As compared to this, higher dividend may be declared if tax rates are relatively lower. Though the dividends are free of tax in the hands of shareholders, a dividend distribution tax is levied on companies. Thus, under the present tax policy, shareholders are likely to prefer higher dividends. Stock market reaction. Investors in general view an increase in the dividend as a good news, and stock prices react positively to it. Similarly, a decrease in dividend may have a negative impact on the share prices in the stock market. Thus, the possible impact of the dividend policy on the equity share price is one of the important factors considered by the management while taking a decision about it. Access to the capital market. Large and reputed companies generally have easy access to the capital market and therefore may depend less on retained earnings to finance their growth. These companies tend to pay higher dividend than the smaller companies which have relatively low access to the market. Legal constraints. Certain provision of the Companies Act place a restriction on the payout of the dividend. Such provision must be adhered to while declaring the dividend. Contractual constraints. While granting loans to the company, sometimes lender may impose a certain restriction on the payment of dividends in future. The companies are required to ensure that the dividend does not violate the terms of loan agreement in this regard. So there are several factors required to be considered while taking a investment decision. Clear? Now we are going to study financial planning. Financial planning is essentially the preparation of the financial blueprint of an organization, future's operation. The objective of financial planning is to ensure that enough funds are available at right time. If adequate funds are not available, the firm will not be able to honor its commitment and carry out its plans. On the other hand, if excess funds are available, it will unnecessarily add to the cost and may encourage wasteful expenditure. It must be kept in mind that financial planning is not equivalent to or a substitute for financial management. Financial management aims at choosing the best investment and financing alternative by focusing on their cost and benefit. Its objective is to increase the shareholders' wealth. Financial planning, on the other hand, aims at smooth operation by focusing on the fund requirement and their availability in the light of financial decisions. For example, if a capital budgeting decision is taken, the operations are likely to be at higher scale. The amount of expenses and revenues are likely to increase. Financial planning process tries to forecast all the items which are likely to undergo changes. It enables the management to foresee the fund requirement, both the quantum as well as timing. Likely shortage and surpluses are forecast so that necessary activities are taken in advance to meet those situations. Thus, financial planning is strives to achieve the following twin objectives. What are those objectives? First is to ensure availability of the funds whenever required. This includes a proper estimation of the funds in advance required for different purposes, such as for the purchase of long-term asset or to meet day-to-day expenses of the business, etc. Apart from this, there is a need to estimate the time at which these funds are to be made available. Financial planning also tries to specify possible sources of these funds. Second point, to see that the firm does not raise unnecessarily resources. Excess funding is almost as bad as inadequate funding. Even if there is some surplus money, good financial planning would put it to the best possible use so that financial resources are not left idle and does not unnecessarily add to the cost. Clear? So using of the or taking the unnecessary source is also very bad. Thus, a proper matching of the fund requirement, their availability is sought to be achieved by financial planning. This process of estimating the funds requirement of a business and specifying the sources of a fund is called financial planning. Financial planning takes into consideration the growth, performance, investment and requirement of funds for a given period. Financial planning includes both short-term as well as long-term planning. Long-term planning relates to long-term growth and investment and focuses on capital expenditure program. Short-term planning covers short-term financial plan called budget. Typically, financial planning is done for 3 to 5 years. For longer period, it becomes more difficult and less useful. Plans made for the period of 1 year or less are termed as budgets. Budgets are examples of financial planning exercise in greater details. They include detailed plan of action for a period of 1 year or less. Financial planning usually begins with the preparation of sales forecast. Let us suppose a company is making a financial plan for the next year. 5 years. It will start with an estimate of the sale which are likely to happen in the next 5 years. Based on these, the financial statements are prepared. Keeping in mind the requirement of the funds for investment in the fixed capital and working capital, then the expected profit during the period are estimated so that idea can be made of how much of the fund requirement can be met internally. Means you can arrange at your own or you may require it from outsiders. So in order to arrange internally, what you have to see, the amount of earnings available with you, that is retained earning. After dividend payout, how much balance is lying in the journal ledger, how much balance is lying in the profit and loss account. You have to consider all the things, whether you are not investing in any other project or not. So you have to keep in factor all possible things or objectives in your mind while doing the financial planning. This results in an estimation of the requirement for external funds. Further, the source from which the external funds requirement can be met are identified and cash budgets are made incorporating these factors. So a good amount of financial planning which may happen in future under different situation, you have to anticipate that. Clear? So these are the basic features of or concept of the financial planning. In the next class we will study some more about financial planning.